Welcome to Open for Small Business, the podcast that celebrates the grit, determination, and resilience of small business owners and experts. We dive into the real stories behind running a business, from the big wins to the tough lessons, with candid conversations from those who've lived it. I'm your host, Bridget Snelling, Country Manager for Xero in Aotearoa, New Zealand. We're open for small business. I'm delighted to be joined today by Maree Glading, who is the CEO and founder of Evre Skincare, which is a teen skincare brand. Maree, thank you so much for coming back. Part two.
Thank you. Exciting.
Yeah,
Always here to chat with you.
So we talked last time about your business journey. You had lots of amazing tips for businesses, and now you've kind of your journey's taken another twist, and I really want to hear all about it. It's really exciting. So you've just come back from overseas. Tell us, what you've been up to.
Yeah, so I've just spent the last 7 weeks, well, close to 7 weeks in the US, attended a few trade shows,
Amazing.
met with customers, went out and did store visits, meeting with different media agencies, and just trying to build a business over there, basically.
Okay, so we'll do a recap on how you started at Evre, just so anyone who didn't hear part one can catch up on where things are at. So teen skincare, how'd you come up with the idea? You're obviously a bit of a serial entrepreneur. You've had a few other businesses. Talk to us about the Evre journey.
Yeah, so my background is FMCG, fast-moving consumer goods, so products, working for large corporates. I used to have a pie and cookie business called I Love Food Co. We did I Love Pies. I sold that and took some time off, and COVID hit and all that weird time
in our lives that we try not to think about.
Yeah, and during that time, my daughter was about 12. She had a few pimples, started coming, nothing too serious. I saw that she was using products that were either cheap and nasty, made in questionable places, or she wanted really expensive things, from Mecca and Sephora that had really strong actives in it, which were made for women my age, not for her. And I was like, okay, let's find you something suitable. And I just couldn't find anything. And anything suitable I did find, it didn't really have the branding and the look and feel and the formulations that I felt would appeal to her. So because I'm a crazy entrepreneur, I thought, hey, I can do this. I'll make a range of skincare for teens. And I did. And I guess too, it was just really divine timing. You might have heard the term Sephora Kids.
Absolutely. I was going to talk about that.
Yeah, so there's been a lot of concern in the media around what kids are using and what they're putting on their skin, and that they're causing more damage. And I guess this was something that I saw 3 or 4 years ago. And now Evre is in the perfect position to capitalize on that. We know that 49% of the growth within the skincare category is being driven by teens. In the US, they spend $375 a year US on personal care products.
And what age are we talking?
Well, I mean, it starts very, very young, and their skin is beautiful and perfect, and they shouldn't really be using anything.
Absolutely.
But at the same time, it's like they want to get into it, and there's nothing wrong with starting a gentle regime, and that's, I guess, where Evre steps in. We have 2 ranges, so we've got a range that's perfect for your first starter range. That's for the girl who's like, I'm desperate to get into skincare, and they just want a very simple range. And then we have more of our blemish acne treatment range, which is the other reason, unfortunately, teens come into skincare, is because they are noticing
they've got some
or their mum is like, time to use a face wash, so we've got those 2 ranges for that reason. But also at the same time as developing the range, it was the pandemic, and I saw that youth mental health was just at a very, very dire point, and this is a number of reasons: social media exposure, the pandemic,
isolation.
All that. And we have the highest youth suicide rates in the world in New Zealand. We've got the highest rates of bullying, believe it or not. I thought we were a kind nation. And I was just like, this is just not acceptable. So I don't think a moisturiser is going to solve all your mental health problems, but I do think as a brand, it's a really great platform to start talking about self-care and well-being. And as a company, we commit a percentage of sales to youth mental health charities. And we also like to educate parents and teens around mental health and well-being tools.
Which I absolutely love. I mean, I think I've got a daughter who's almost 12. She's exactly what you've described. She wants to go on to Mecca and Sephora, and she's telling me all the time about brands that I should be using. She's not even on social media, so I don't even know how she gets access to all this information. But it is, that they're growing up so fast in skincare. I mean, I remember, when we were young, it was like I went to the supermarket and got a Blackmore scrub, and that was kind of like, that was the skincare. But now, Evre has just come in and is able to capture this market. But how do you compete with the Sephora Mecca generation, with these brands that are really advanced and far too advanced for the skin of the kids who might be trying to use them? How does Evre compete with that?
Yeah, I mean, it's really hard because my competitors do have really deep pockets.
Yeah.
And they have a lot of social kudos. And for me, it's just about staying true to our roots, our story, our authenticity, and just keep telling the story over and over and over again, and educating people around the products that teens should be using, but doing it in such a way that you're still appealing to that age group.
And the product, I mean, obviously the packaging is lovely. It looks nice. It's appealing. It's, because I remember Drunk Elephant kind of started. I don't know if that's true, but to me it seemed like the poppy lollipop colours and stuff is what really got kids attracted to them. Your packaging is appealing. It's nice, it's clean, but it's sophisticated enough that they feel like they're using something fancy.
Yeah, and that's exactly what we tried to do. I wanted to create a range that felt special, that they would want to put on display in their bedroom, that they would want to gift to their friends for birthday presents.
Yeah.
Something that felt really special and was theirs.
So the US, I mean, this is a market that most businesses, if they want to grow, need to crack, or at least a lot try to crack it. And you seem to have done it. So talk to us about your journey getting Evre into the US.
Yes. So I love New Zealand. It's a great place to start a business. We're very much a trust society, and it's a great way to start sort of validating your ideas and making sure that your products resonate with consumers. However, with a small population and basically being at the bottom of the world, it's very, very hard for us to scale and to scale quickly. So you really need to look to bigger markets. Yeah. So quite quickly I had decided that I wanted to go into the US. I just felt that it ticked a lot of boxes from, having higher incomes, higher propensity to purchase, more prepared to spend money as consumers on products that are natural and better quality. Yeah. And just, basically a huge market. I mean, you look at like Texas alone, I think is 45 million, twice the size of Australia.
Yeah, it's crazy, isn't it?
Like you nail Texas and you've got a bigger business than you could ever have in Australia.
I know every state is like a different country, isn't it?
100%.
And so how did it start? How did you what was the first step?
Yeah, so the first step was I attended a very small boutique kind of trade show, and I went there just to sort of test the lay of the land. And instantly I was getting buyers and people attending coming up going, yes, we need this. Yes, I've got a teen. I want this. And I was like, oh, this is great. I think I'm onto something here. I think with any CPG, I like to talk about it like it's a domino effect. You're not going to just tomorrow wake up and go into Walmart, and what I love about the US is there's a lot of retailers and they really understand their role in the market, and they really understand their strategy, and they understand the stage that a brand should be in those stores. So what I did was I was like, it's really important that we get like credibility as being natural and ethical and mission-led and all those things. So I went to a couple of online retailers there that are very hard to get into because they have such strict standards around their ingredients and also like the boxes that you need to tick. So I went into those and I got in. Like it took like 6 months to pitch to them, to go through all their screening process and to get set up.
It doesn't sound that long to me when you think about sometimes it can take years for people to get into it.
They're just a small online retailer. Okay. But yeah, it can take years. But So I just thought I'll go to them, and then that sends a really strong message to the market that Evre was able to meet their criteria.
Yeah,
because there's some retailers that have that criteria, but they're not going to necessarily go through such a rigorous process. I also took a bit of leap of faith. I set up in a 3PL up there and just sent up a couple of pallets of product. So that was definitely like, let's send it and hope we sell it.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. Because you want to be in a position so that when a retailer says, yes, I'll take you.
You've got it.
You've got it.
You're there. You've got the product.
Yeah, because the problem with New Zealand is you've got like 3 months on the water. You don't be like, yeah, cool. And then I'll be with you in 5 months.
Yeah, by then someone else has come in and they've forgotten about it.
Yeah. So I sent product up there. I got into these smaller, well, they're still quite big, like one's Thrive Market. They've got a database of 5 million people, and Grove Collaborative. Went into those stores and online and started seeding the brand, because the way I looked at it too was I'm going to spend marketing dollars with these retailers because they have this captive audience of customers that are prepared to spend more money on products that do more, like that are more natural or more ethical. So I went in there, and then I basically would just use that retailer to get the next retailer, to get the next retailer, to get the next retailer. So then it was like going around to all the independent natural grocery stores, because there's a lot of great chains in the US, of like 20 or 30 stores. I mean, I'm in Farmers nationwide, and you could get into a 15 chain store in the US and the volume would be bigger than what I would do in Farmers.
Yeah. It's because of sheer population.
Yeah. And they're getting the foot traffic, right? And so then, they see that you're in you're in Grove and you're in Thrive, and they're like, yeah, I'll take you. And then as a result of that, I was able to get into bigger retailers, So you're
kind of building your credibility one step at a time until you get noticed, and then they're like, yeah, okay, yeah, we'll take you.
Yeah, and I think too that is the better way to go about it, because then you can more scale your processes in line. Do you know, like to get like a Walmart, as amazing as that would be, to have nothing and then to go to 5,000 stores.
Yeah, how would you do that? You'd have to just, the scale would be so enormous.
Make mistakes.
Yeah.
And you would get kicked out, and then you would never get back in.
Yeah.
So I feel like the way I'm doing it is a little bit slower, but is more concerted.
And it's working for you.
Yeah, and it's working. And for me, it's a little bit like what I did and what my ex-business partner and I did in my last business was, we started off in the pie business in farmers markets, and then we went into farrow, and we had butchers, and like that all sent a message to the market that we were artisanal, and we were special and more premium. And as a result, we got those early adopting consumers, and then we transferred them over to their weekly shop in the supermarket. And I'm kind of just applying a similar theory where I'm like, these people don't just shop at these natural grocers. They also shop at other grocery stores or department stores or mass merchants or whatever. They have a propensity to want to buy products like that. So utilizing your channel strategy to help build your brand is really important, if that makes sense.
Yeah, no, it totally does. And what about product development? So, you've got your range. How do you think about what might be next, or do you look at like what's selling, what's not, rationalizing it? How do you think about that?
Yeah, so taking a little bit of a step back, I decided to manufacture in the US because I didn't want to be in a position where I got a retailer and then said, yeah, I'll be with you in 6 months. I wanted to say, yeah, we can deliver tomorrow.
So is that a recent shift? Have you been there for a while?
I started producing in the US in March this year.
Oh, okay, right.
So pretty recent.
Yeah, quite recent. And are you still manufacturing in New Zealand or only in the US?
Both.
Yeah, so both.
Both. So I can service both well. And then also, if we do need extra stock or there's some lines that someone wants to take that the US don't make, we'll send it up from New Zealand. So we're still sort of doing both. But I think it's really important, back to your original question, to really rationalize your range. I think often a lot of founders, that they love the innovation process and they love developing new products. And I do too. Like, my background is actually product innovation. But, especially in beauty, like, every product I develop costs me at least $100,000, at least, because of the MOQs, minimum order quantities, that you need to buy for packaging, the stability testing, the R&D that goes into it. So you can't just be like scattergun going, I'm going to make 20 new SKUs, because you'll be broke.
Yeah,
right?
totally.
And also, the retailer only has X amount of space. So for the US, I've been very considered and kept a really tight range of just our best-selling products, because you want to put your best foot forward.
Absolutely, yeah.
And now I think I'm in a really great position with some of the retailers up there, where I'm actually working with them on innovation, which is where I really like to be. We used to do this a lot in my last business, and it takes a while to get there, but it's basically building that trust with the retailer and treating it like a true partnership. They know their categories better than anyone else. I can't afford all the scan data to analyze it.
No, that's right.
So I literally just go to them and be like, what would you like to see? What's working? What isn't working? What price points do you want me to hit? And so now I'm working on products for 2026, 2027 that have come from insights and developments from retailers. And I think the great thing is, you're more likely to get acceptance from retailers when you're working with them, but it takes a while to get to that
trust
position.
Right?
Yeah, you're not going to just be like, hi, you don't know me, you've never worked with me before, what do you want me to make?
Yeah, of course. You've proven yourself.
Yeah.
And so now they're prepared to kind of
and
take
I
a
know
chance
that
with you.
like big companies like the Zurus and stuff of the world, that's literally, I believe this is what they do. They literally just go into Target and be like, okay, what demographic do you want to hit? What price point? Do you need something in hair care or body care or whatever? And then they just develop the range for them. And that's just like the ultimate position that you want to be in.
Absolutely.
And what I also love about the US is that the retailers they're super sophisticated. They're really, really smart people. To get to the positions that they're in, they're highly competent. Just because they've had to fight their way through, so many people. Yeah. And their access to knowledge and research and data is immense. They know so much. And so I've really relied really heavily on them to help guide me.
And how amazing to be in that position now.
Yes.
And so what's next for Evre? You've got the US. You're in Australia already?
No. We're not
in Australia.
No.
So straight from New Zealand to the US. Are you thinking about Australia as a market?
Oh, definitely. I would love to get into Australia, but I think the retail environment there is incredibly concentrated. And it's very tough. It's very promotionally driven, and it's hard for a premium brand. I'm talking to retailers there are like, oh, we want to be on discount 26 weeks of the year, and 6 of those weeks it has to be 50% off.
And that undermines, I guess, the premium value that you're trying to push.
Yeah. And then, at the end of the day, we're in business to make money, and you've got to make sure you've got the margin there. And, again, Australia is big, but it's still small
compared to other markets.
So for me, I'm just trying to be very concerted and really focused on the US. I'm not opposed to going into Australia. I'd love an Australian retailer, but it's just probably I'm talking to them all. It'll probably just take a bit of time. But we hope by February next year, we should be in about 2,000 stores in the US.
That's phenomenal.
Yeah. So now my next challenge is really like selling it off the shelf. And it's super hard to get into the retailers. I think, you can't undermine that and what you need to do to achieve that. But now it's the second phase is like, let's make sure we move it off the shelf.
Yeah, that's right. Once you're there, you actually have to want people going in there looking for it or wanting it.
Yeah.
So that brings me to a really interesting question, right? Because, I know just from my kids that they see things, my son will see something on TikTok, or, my daughter's cousin will tell her about a product she's seen on TikTok. How do you reconcile that? Because obviously the platform that you're leveraging for Evre is mental health, and obviously there's all this research about social media and the harm it's doing to kids' to their mental health. But probably to become a product that is that gets viral, so to speak. TikTok's one of the main platforms. So how do you reconcile that for Evre? Like, do you use the platforms to promote the product?
With my brand, I equally talk to the parent as I do the teen. So even if I wasn't allowed to market to teens, that would be okay with me, because for me, it's actually about engaging the mum and getting the mum to purchase the product and the mum to have trust in Evre. And I also want mums to know that there's a lot of garbage out there, and kids have all the information in the world, and but what they lack is the maturity to assess that information, because they're getting it from other teenagers,
100%.
right? And so I want Evre to be the platform that also mums know, I know that the content they're putting out is good, and I know that it's giving benefit. It's not just trying to sell something. It's also trying to educate them around their mental health and well-being. And so for me, it's really important that like at least a third of all our content is talking about that, not just a sell. So
yeah, it's really interesting. It really strikes me these days. If you think back to when we were growing up, obviously there was no social media. There was, if you heard out a product, it was really because you saw a TV ad probably, or a radio ad or something that told you about the product. And now for a brand, you're so much more, aren't you? You're not just skincare. You are building a community, building awareness of something. And equally, where people can access harmful content on social media, they can also access really helpful, positive content. I think that's the role that Evre's playing, right? You're actually educating parents and kids, one, about the harmful ingredients in some of these products that kids are using that are really not good for them. But equally, you're promoting really important things like being aware of mental health and well-being. Like, I think that's incredible. But what a huge job, though, for a business owner these days. It's so much more than making a product and selling it, isn't it? There's so much more
I know.
to think
it's
about.
like sometimes I feel like I produce more content than I do skincare. Do you know? It's like, are we a content house? So there's all the content. It's you have to be the face of the brand. You have to show authenticity. You have to show behind the scenes. You have to.
It's so demanding.
It's so much. It's a lot. And sometimes it's exhausting when you're just like, all I'm trying to do is work out how to get product A to place B or whatever, But
isn't that just such a challenge, though? If you're thinking about going into business these days, or if you are a business starting out, there is so much more to think about. It's not just about the product you're selling or the service you're providing, but it's about how that whole brand story hangs together, because it's so competitive and everyone else is doing it. And so how do you get cut through? I mean, I think for Evre, you've got this amazing point of difference because you are built on a platform of authenticity. You're a mum, you've got kids, you've got a daughter who had a real problem you wanted to help solve. And so from that, you've been able to build this really incredible brand. So,
not many other teen-focused brands talk to the mother.
Yeah.
And whilst you really need the teen to want it, at the end of the day, my daughter, the name of the game is to get me to spend my money, not her precious money.
Yeah, well, also the kids don't have any money. So
that's what I meant.
Yeah, unless they're working. My daughter's always wanting, I'll pay half of this, I'll pay half of that. I was like, well, you actually don't have any money except for your little bit of pocket money. So I'm the one that has to actually buy into this situation.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah, it is hard. And I don't think everyone is fully cut out for that. Do you know what I mean?
Well, it takes lots of skills, right?
It takes a lot of skills. And I just think, God, I was just so lucky I was one of those drama kids, because I'm really happy, like talking and being in front of the camera and all that kind of stuff. And I have literally zero shame. And I just think, gosh, that must be really hard if you're not like
prepared
that.
to put yourself out there like that.
Yeah.
And so what's some advice you would give a business? And it might be an FMCG business. It might be something completely different. But someone who's starting out in business, maybe they're trying to grow and get into the US, or maybe they're just trying to figure out how they win in this New Zealand market. What's a key bit of advice, like, that you would really wish someone had told you maybe when you were starting out in business?
Oh, gosh.
So many
what
things,
do I wish
probably.
people had told me? I don't know. I just think you just can't ever give up. You've just got to keep going, keep going, keep going. Pick yourself up. You have to have the thickest skin.
Yeah.
You have to have your moment of woe is me, but make it 1 minute and move on. Do you know, there's no licking your wounds. Just keep charging. And if you haven't got that in you, you can't do this. You literally cannot do this.
Yeah, because it's so hard.
Yeah, I mean.
But so rewarding, right?
Yeah, it is. It is. I mean, I just don't think I can do anything else.
Well, I think my husband says once he's worked for himself, he'll never work for another person again because it's so rewarding ultimately to have the freedom and flexibility. So thinking about that, like, what is some moments, like some made-it moments for you where you've gone, oh, God, I'm smashing this. This is really good. This is why I get out of bed in the morning.
Yeah, I mean, it was great going to the trade shows. And
you had, I saw her on, I think it was LinkedIn or something, you had a beautiful cart, beautiful balloons. It was like really lovely.
And like having just all these people come up and going, so what retailers you're in? And I'm like, and they're like, what? Why are you here? And you're just like, I think it's so easy to be in New Zealand and not really realize the scale of something. And I was like, wow. And then I went to a strip mall in America and I looked up and I saw there was 5 retailers in a row and we were in every single one of them. And I was just like, this is bananas.
Yeah, that's amazing. And that's incredible.
And not being in the US day to day, it's very hard to wrap your head around it.
Yeah.
So that is bananas. Like I still don't believe it.
Yeah, but I think we've got a couple of retailers there, right, that are just beauty products. But you go to the States and there's a number of them, and you go to a mall and you see that, and they are, it's just next level, isn't it? I mean, even like the Target over there is, the section, the beauty section alone is, probably bigger than any of our retailers put together.
Yeah,
so it's just vast.
Yeah, like you go and like, Target's got something like 7,000 stores or whatever. Do you know, like it's just you massive. Can't even wrap your head around how big it is. Yeah.
It's incredible. So in terms of lessons that you've learned, what would be the number one lesson that you've learned on your business journey with Evre?
I think it's like you can't do everything and you just have to be very, very laser focused. And what you do, you have to do really, really well. Like, yes, I'd love to be in Australia, but let's just put it to one side for now.
You got to prioritize.
Yeah, and just be very, very, very focused, and you cannot be scattergun in anything that you do. And especially when you look at the US, I talk about it like, I call it the salt and pepper effect. Like you can't be like this
everywhere. You can't. Yeah,
you have to just.
It's like peanut butter effect. We talk about at work a lot. You can't spread too thin.
Yeah. So it's like whatever you do, it has to be really, really concentrated. So I tell myself that all the time. And I'm always thinking like, how can we drive velocity? That's the name of the game.
Yeah. And getting funding. So this is another area that businesses wanting to grow, it can be incredibly hard to secure funding. Something I hear all the time from businesses. So what are some things that have worked for you? Is it just tenacity? Is it getting in with the right crowd? Like, how have you sourced your investment?
Yeah, I mean, I would say it's virtually impossible to get investment for a CPG company in New Zealand.
What does CPG stand for?
Consumer product goods.
Oh, consumer product goods.
It's like FMCG, but just products.
Okay, got it.
Yeah. So,
because I've seen you've posted a little bit on LinkedIn around tech companies are getting all the investment, but actually there's a lot of people on the rich list, for example, that started in CPG.
Yeah, and then I came to the realization they're rich because they didn't sell their company. You know what I mean? So it's actually impossible. It's impossible. Like, I've got a really good track record and could not get any funding here at all. And
so why is that, do you think? Like, what is the barrier? I
think it's a couple of things. I think the people with the money don't understand CPG and have no expertise in that area. They've all come from tech backgrounds. I think that the government incentivizes tech, and I understand that. I understand tech being like one of the future industries for our country. I think they see CPG as a risky type of business because you need so much capital up front to invest in stock. And I just wonder if we don't actually have that many skilled founders in this space, if I'm really honest. Just actually impossible. I was very lucky that I had a business that I grew and sold. So I've used most of that money to fund this business. And not many people are in that position to be able to do that. also just having a really good relationship with your bank
Yeah.
and trying to work with them around that. But
what about an advisor? Do you have a good accountant? Are you, do you use an accountant to support you?
I have a fractional CFO that I worked with in my last business.
So they provide like some advice for you.
Yeah. I also have a really great advisory board member who's had a very extensive CPG experience, especially in the US.
Great.
He's based in the US. I used to work with him a million years ago, so we have a good relationship there. It's really, really, really tough. I wish I could say this is what you should do.
But funding is one of the key barriers to growth, right?
And
it's hard.
I just think so often though, people just go, I need money, and they rush to that without even, there's things you can do, like when I look back at the pie business, I think, we started off small, farmers markets and farrow, and our packaging was quite basic. It was just a flow wrap with a sticker on it. You don't need the bells and whistles
from the get-go.
Like take
and
baby
in fact, much more
steps.
sensible not to start with that, because if you spend a lot of money up front, trying to make your product look perfect and then it doesn't sell very well, you shoot yourself in the foot. So that's a great lesson, right?
Yeah.
Start small, be simple, get your traction, build your brand, and then you'll have a bit more money to spend.
I do think you need to think global from the start.
Yeah.
And what I mean by that is think about, your packaging might be a bit basic or whatever, but think about, does this brand name resonate globally? Does this story that I'm building resonate globally? Is the price point I want to sell this product at, will that stack up when I go into a retailer or when I need to export it? Like so many people go, I'm going to sell this for $10. And then they don't realize that, the retailer takes 60% or whatever it might be, or that their shipping cost is 20%. So it's that whole think global, but you don't necessarily need to execute globally to start off with.
But have that mindset. And I think we hear that all the time as well. And not every business wants to grow and go global, and that's fine. But even if you want to succeed in this market, having that mindset is going to stand you in good stead.
Yeah, like if you're at the farmer's market, think about what would I need it to work if I was going into pack and save. Pick the retailer who
you really want to get into,
who has the lowest price point.
And work backwards from that.
And work back from that.
Yeah.
Even if you think, I never want to be in pack and save, well, just one day you will want to be there, I guarantee it. And just think about it, think about it up front.
And so this is a problem that we come across all the time, right? People, are really good at something, or they have a craft or a passion project and they get into business, they commercialize it, but they don't necessarily have the foundation or financial literacy skills to support them on that journey. Well, we've just launched this Know Your Numbers program at Xero to help businesses figure out, well, what are the basic things I need to know in order to make kind of good decisions about cash flow and other things. Where do you go for it? Obviously, you're a powerhouse, you're a serial entrepreneur, you've done this for a long time now, but what's your advice to people who are starting out and maybe they don't have all the skills? How do you upskill? Where do you go for advice?
Yeah, well, you do need a really good accountant, and you need someone who's got that CPG background.
Yeah.
And you need to start benchmarking, so you need to start thinking, oh, I know that I need to have my COGS at X% and I need to have my gross margin at X% and my net profit at X% or whatever. Yeah. So that that you're in line with the category norms, and you need people who've got that understanding to help you build that. Also, the thing that always amazes me is that you need to have a P&L per product. Yes, you have your business P&L, but you should be you should even be doing a P&L by customer. You should know, Countdown makes me X money.
Absolutely. Or this product is not working because I'm not making any money out of it. It's costing me too much.
Yeah, exactly.
What's the return?
Exactly. But so many people just look at their total P&L, but you should be breaking it right down.
Well, it can hide sins, can't it? You can have one product that's selling extremely well and three that aren't, but in totality, it looks good.
Yeah, or the one that's selling extremely well makes you no money.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. What's the margin?
Yeah.
Yeah, but these are all the things that I think are hard for business owners if they haven't got that background. To know, and that's where problems can arise, right?
Yes.
You can actually come into some really sticky situations if you haven't got that. So making sure you're figuring out, well, what are my skills and what don't I have, and where do I go?
Yeah.
How do I surround myself with people who can fill the gaps?
Yeah, I mean, that's how I've always approached things. Like, I sort of, in my head or on a piece of paper, I do this thing where I create like a bit like a dartboard. What do you call it?
Dartboard?
Dartboard? I don't know. And in the middle, I put, what do I love and I'm really good at? And then I put in the next wheel, what am I okay at and can do? And then on the outside, I go, what are the things I hate doing and I'm really bad at?
Yeah.
And then
what a great way to do it.
And then I think on the outside, how do I either get support in that area? So where can I, if I can't afford to hire anyone, how can I upskill or learn more or bring in those resources? And then I just keep working my way into the middle until I'm only doing the things I'm really good at. You know, so my first hire was an operations manager, because it's incredibly attention to detail, very, very fiddly. And if you make a mistake, it can cost you thousands and thousands of dollars. First hire. Second hire, CFO. Fractional, because numbers incredibly important. You know,
Totally.
I'm financially literate and I can actually do all that stuff, but it's not
Your happy place.
my happy place. And then my third hire, sales support. Lots of forms. I hate forms. So, you know, and also really important to make sure that you are servicing your customers, your retailers, by getting all these forms done properly and in an efficient manner. So, I mean, that's kind of how I work.
Yeah.
And that's what I recommend people do.
Yeah, and I love that. I love that. Break it down. Yeah.
Know your weaknesses.
And your strengths.
Yeah.
Awesome. So what's next for Evre?
Well, I think, you know, really for me, it's like we've onboarded all these amazing retailers and now it's about trying to get the product sold. And so it's about building that community, and community is super, super important. And really it's just the next year is like, how do we build that community? How do we make sure we drive that velocity and make sure that product's sold through? And also, how can we continue to live the purpose of the brand, which is to improve the mental health of youth? So really that's what's next for us in the next year. And then I'm also looking at the UK and Europe as markets as well. So these things aren't ever quick, you know, so you have to start the conversations now with retailers and they might come off in 2 or 3 years. And I think that's the thing too. You need to have patience.
How do you celebrate successes?
Yeah, so I don't tend to, because it's not a surprise when it happens.
Is that because you've just put in so much hard work? It's like, oh, finally.
Yeah, it's not like you win lotto and one day you go,
ta-da!
Ta-da, you're in, it's happening, I got the email. It's like, you know, it could be months or a year. Yeah, like one of my retailers I've been talking to for 2.5 years, and, you know, back and forth, and you're like, oh, I think she's going to take it. Oh, yes, she's interested in this. Yes, she's going to, oh, cool, we're going into this many stores. Oh, cool, we're going into some more stores. And then I'm so focused on the next phase, which is like, okay, how do we execute it? How do we make sure we deliver into that retailer? How do we have all the forms and stuff all sorted and all that sort of stuff, that you sort of forget to reflect back. And it's only when I come and do something like this that I go, oh, wow, yeah.
Have actually done really well.
Yeah.
It's because it's incremental. You're not stopping every day and high-fiving, but actually when you think back, you've actually achieved so much.
Yes.
You know, really huge amounts in the last few years, and you probably do need to stop and actually go, wow, I deserve to just have a little moment of reflection here.
Yeah, and I think too, just being gentle on yourself sometimes and go, you know, it's is a lot for a small team on the other side of the world.
Oh, it's huge. Well, it's amazing. I can't wait to see the long-term plan for Evre and where you go next. And we'll have to have a part 3 so that we can catch up on the exciting developments that happen over the course of the next year, because I'm sure with your energy and drive, Maree, there's going to be plenty to talk about again. So thank you so much for coming in today. Lots of great lessons for business owners out there. Lots of advice. Thank you for sharing. So super stoked for you that you are doing so well, particularly getting into that US market. That's just phenomenal.
Oh, thank you so much. It's so great to be able to have the opportunity to share my story. Would love a part 3. You know, love zero. I love saying this. I was one of their first 50 customers.
You were too.
Yes, I always talk about it. I love seeing a Kiwi success story like Xero, so it's great to be along that journey with
No,
you guys.
we're still, we're still in the US, still tapping away up in that market too. So, 19 years for Xero, and obviously just a couple for Evre now, just getting in there. So, lots of Kiwi companies trying to do it. So, well done to you.
Thank you.